later today because FOMC is today, or was today, at 2 o'clock. So we will look at the announcement notes, see what is going on there. We're going to also talk about Microsoft, Amazon, Apple, and some other amazing things that are going on. We're also going to look at XRP. We're going to look at the Ethereum, some of the Ethereum coins as well, see what's going on in the crypto space there. Let me share the link out and we will get started. All right, let's share it right over here and share. Da, da, da. I will be running today just about 2:40, so we have about half an hour to go over everything and pull up stocks as well that you want to check out. So let me get the chat going up and live for us. I'm not going to lie that with my daughter home, renovations going on in the house, it is a little busy and a little tiring right now. So hello Asif, hello Quodwo Stokes, hello W Diggs, bonjour, je campagne, merci. All right, so let's pull up the charts. So FOMC, getting your second shot. All right, how was the first one? Let's go here to Forex Factory and see if we have FOMC press conference notes. Let's see, FOMC, the Fed is thinking about tapering, 2 hours. What investors should expect to hear from the Fed, that was 6 hours ago. So no FOMC preview, that was from 2 days ago. Fed watch, too big for the tapering bang. So keeping all of that on watch. We should have an FOMC announcement. Keeping it the same for now. Any additional? No. But we'll have the little 2:30 meeting coming up. So keep it on watch. We'll check out the SPY levels, really important levels to watch, right? So this is the weekly chart. You see how we are a bit extended away from that 4? We could very, very easily have a nice 4-point correction or 1% correction based on some news that he might be saying and going into the first week of April. I just did a segment with stock charts today. I got to give Rachel a shout out at Stock Charts. They sent over some awesome stock chart swag. And really appreciate that. Let's look at the indexes overall. It's always good to check and see what's going to happen with the indexes. So S&P 500 is on the second page at the bottom of the page. So bear with me 2 seconds. There we go. S&P. All right, April coming into May. Look at this. We tend to have a drawdown right into that last part of the month. So anticipating a bit of a sell-off going into the weekend and then potentially higher on Monday. So looking for that drawdown, maybe that 1% in Friday of pulling back down to 414. Let's look at it on the 24-hour chart as well. So 414, maybe we'll come back down to 415, 414, really 412. Or 413 is our 15 EMA right here. So maybe we're going to pull back down. Wouldn't be abnormal, right? To go ahead and see a little bit of a correction there. Our volume has been dropping, super high volume this day. As long as we stay above the 22nd of April, you guys can see it right there, right? The 22nd of April, which was also the day that that new rule by the SEC, 15C3-3 about short shares had to be covered, right? So they were raising capital. Yes. Yeah, they've been trading a lot of crazy stuff, you two. So looking at that, as long as we stay above this, going to be a bit more bullish. This closed on the candlesticks at 14.1260, we'll call it. Excuse me, that's down here. It opened at 415.60. So as long as we stay above 415.60, I'm going to definitely be a bull on the market, but looking for a bit of a correction into the rest of this week and then potentially a bigger bounce higher. We have been testing this upward trend line. We had 2 days, it seems like, positioning yesterday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we're in there. So let's look, break above 418.20, moving to the upside, or below 417.40. Let's pull it on down a little bit, 417.25. That if we close below 417.25, I think we'll likely see that 414 area on Friday. Let's check out the Qs. Qs had really big volume yesterday, bigger volume, and we pulled back from the top, pulled back the moving averages. We're kind of stuck in between them right at the moment, so a very difficult spot. This is our 45-minute chart, rejecting this 50 simple moving average. So if we're not able to close up above 340.60, I would look for a continuation move to the downside, and below 338.80. Those are going to be my levels on the Qs. IWM, we are moving up on IWM many times. We will move up when the Qs are moving down, that the 2000, Russell 2000 will be moving to the upside. Dow Jones is also pulling back as well. Is this going to be a rounded top and then we come back down to this 50 simple moving average? Very curious to see if we're going to hold that 337.50 level, which on my new experiment here, this is the 336 SMA, and that seems to be a bounce point on the 45-minute chart. So I've been tracking that now for 2 days. XLF is moving up just a little bit, 11 cents from yesterday. So are we going to see that this is going to continue to the upside or move down? Specifically Citadel, what they allegedly do is trade NASDAQ stocks on the OTC in the billions of shares, manipulating price using fake shares, and then wait for the votes to issue new shares. Yeah, there's a lot of manipulation and dirtiness in trading, and a lot in the dark pools as well. VXX, we're starting to see that this is up a little bit on the day. Not a wonder, right? But we are seeing that maybe we have a double bottom right here. We saw it here, we have a double bottom, and then it pulls back down. A bit of double bottom here. Let's see, right here as well, we had sideways price action, and then it shot up to the 50 simple moving average. Maybe we're going to have that happen again. Let's get rid of some of these. We don't need all of these. Right there. So looking to see, are we going to break above this 20 exponential moving, simple moving average, and then on up to the 50. I'd keep that on watch. Many times if we do have a correction, we tend on pulling back to this purple, or the gray one, or the purple one right here. So that's the 90 and the 125. So looking to see, maybe we're going to see a move up to 58.57, a bit of a correction going into May, as I said. Now, we did have Microsoft report today. Microsoft, Apple, and Tesla were all on my short list. My short list definitely performing to the downside today. So we'll start off with Microsoft. So Microsoft had earnings, failed right away, had a big move to the downside. Apple as well, earnings and pulling back. I might have a little 4-year-old that tries to come in here. Tesla as well, pulling back. We've rejected this level, pulling back. I would keep it on watch to see if we're going to come back down to the 615 area over here. And Boeing is pulling back, bounced off of the 425. Are we going to hold this level, or is it going to continue down further, back down below this volume weighted average price of 230.67? Viacom had an upgrade today, and look at that. It is moving to the downside. Hit the 15 exponential moving average and is pulling back, bouncing, sort of stuck in the middle here. So I'd look more for a trade if it moves above 43.40 or below $40. All right, on the long side today, I had Facebook as a long going into earnings. We had earnings as well overnight, ended up moving nicely to the upside, pulled back. There is that 336 as a bounce level. So I'm starting to track that and see how strong it is. AMD as well pulled back a little bit today, gapped higher, pulled back to the moving averages. So not abnormal to see hitting the 90 simple moving average on the 45-minute as the support level. Dark pools have to report their trades around 4 p.m. LOL. I guess Microsoft dropped about 10% after closing. There's a secret way, you two, that they will also report them 24 hours late. So know that. We also saw a huge amount of dark pools on the Qs, SQQQ in particular, yesterday, like over 10 million. So when we start to see that, we know that there's going to be a big move. Now, if we look at SQQQ, where are we in relation? We are up from yesterday. So what would you potentially deduce if we are above majority of the volume from the past 2 days? That this is likely going to see a bit of a correction. Maybe you can see we tend to bounce and hit the 20 simple moving average and come back. So maybe we're going to have a move of 40 cents, yeah, up to 11.17. All right, Sony. I was very interested to see that Sony changed their ticker from SNE to Sony. So saw that happen and a bit of a pullback today. Yandex as well was also on my list to the upside and broke out nicely right here. All right, let's check out the ones that you want to see. So we've got Bingo, BNGO. All right, Bingo. So we hit the 90 and it's pulled back to the moving averages. Would look to see, hey, this could have just simply been a, whoops, wrong chart. I wanted this chart over here. That this pulled back, bounced, found resistance, pulled back to the moving averages and will continue up. So next time I would imagine that it would be more that the 50 simple moving average would end up as that resistance point right there. All right, let's look at MVIS. MVIS, amazing day on Monday, retracement day yesterday, bounce today, and it looks as if this level from the past of $24, $23 has been really tough to break, right? So keeping that on watch, likely that's where the crazy volume came in, and it does have earnings coming up tomorrow. So I'm not sure if it's pre-market or post-market, but keep that on watch. I would be cautious holding into earnings. You could also see that this pulls all the way back down to 1250 right here. All right, and GSAT. So GSAT hit the 50 simple moving average and rejected it today, and then it pulled back. So very similar. A lot of these that you mentioned, Quodwo, they bounced up, pulled back, and in the upward motion today. So I'd watch this to really see if this is going to break out up above 145. All right, let's look at RIDE. So RIDE looks as if this might have found a bottom. Would need, in my opinion, for this to break above the 20 simple moving average at 1078. It looks like that acted as a bit of a resistance. It's just been breaking to the downside. Needs a bit more volume. The volume really also needs to break above this candlestick right here with a high of 1105. That was the highest volume that we've had since it really had its downward motion. Yeah, that could be true, you two. They might totally be manipulating the price action. That is true. There's all sorts of games that they play, right? It's just being on the right side of the trade. And CCIV hitting up against this moving average, stuck between the two. Once it breaks above 24, I would look for a trade up to 26.73 right there. Yeah, SPY is looking pretty flat. To me, that's positioning, you two. There's going to be a bigger move. When we see, look, we had a couple of days, really 1, 2, 3, 4, boom. And then just slowly moving up to the upside. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days, or 4 days here. We had 2 days, it pulled back, and now we have 3 days. So maybe it's going to pull back again. We'll see. All right, let's check out the crypto sector. So let's check out XRP, pulling back a little bit today. I like to check it out with the 4-hour chart on the right. So we're bouncing right off of that 21 EMA right here. That's really holding strong. A bit more of a bull flag on that 4-hour chart. If we could break above right here, let's draw a little trend line right here. Personally, I am in this for the longer term. So this, in my opinion, has a lot of amazing value from the ISO 2022 new bank adoption. And you can see we broke out of this upward trend, a little bit of a stall momentum. This could be forming the handle portion of a cup and handle, right? So you guys can see it over here. We have a cup and we have a handle, right? So looking for that depth to be added on right here to here, 37 cents. So my next target, should we break out right at the moment, add on 37 cents would be 174, or roughly 27% for XRP. All right, let's check out a couple of the other coins likely to be adopted into that same banking system. XLM, very similar pattern, a cup and a handle formation. So looking for this to break out, we have the depth over here. We'll measure it here to here. 25% right there, 10 cents. So we'll look at it on up here, 10 cents. At that point would be a 20% move to the upside. All right, let's also check out Iota. So Iota had a big move. You can see that all of these that are potentially going into that sector are all having the same chart. Even Bitcoin as well. Bitcoin is having that same sort of trend, pull back, bounce. Is this going to roll over, or is this going to be at handle formation as well and a bigger move? In which case we might see that this, if this can break out to the upside, we'll add another $6,388 right here and would give it a rough target of 61, let's call it 61,400 right there. So keep it on watch to see, especially if it can clear this 57,250 level. That would be a big level to watch for a bigger breakout. Let's check out Ethereum as well. It's a bit quieter later in the afternoon. Most people are watching middle of the day. All right, Ethereum also moving higher to the upside. This one does have a lot of coins on the Ethereum network to be used as potential payment sources. So the Ethereum network is fairly nice. Also, you can see DOGE as well is one that was adopted by Flare, all having the same pattern. So you can see, much like if you see a lot of stocks that are trading just like the S&P 500, you see that happen many times now with cryptos. If we see that the stocks are pulling back, right? Maybe we see that this is flat. Well, if we look at Microsoft and Apple, those two are definitely not flat. We do have Apple reporting after hours today, so keep that in mind, that this sideways price action, how often do we have sideways price action just before earnings? Very rarely. Here we had a breakdown. Here we had a run up. This is sideways price action. Let's look back in history to see for Apple. Right here, downward, downward, increasing. Very rarely do we have such long sideways price action. If we measure that out, we've had this happening for 11 trading days, 2 weeks, right? And let's go to the form 4 and see if we have any for Apple. 415, the VP sold some on April 15th. What was that price? 134. We are just below that. So we are just below that. Where's April 15th? Right, pretty much right here. Right here. So this is where the VP sold, and it's interesting that it hasn't really gone above that price level. Oh, thanks, Financial Freedom. Welcome. Haven't seen you in a while. Yeah, this could be a giant cup and then like a sideways handle formation, a bit of a V. We'll see. If we're able to break above that 136 level, 135.50, then there's a good chance that we can move higher. But it's had such strong resistance right there. It makes me really wonder why it's had such a strong brick wall right there. If we pull it to the weekly chart, you'll see, look, it's pretty much been 2 weeks that we've just gone really sideways. Again, right there. And what's happening to the volume as we went through this movement? It's slowly dropping off. Right here, it was building, 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 high volume, reversal with the split, and that was the announcement of the split. So everybody started getting in and it shot up. Now it's going a little bit more sideways. All right, do you guys have any other stocks in particular that you'd like to check out? Anything? Gush today, even though they had negative oil numbers, this one does look like it has potential to move to the upside. This is a triple inverse leverage ETF, not one to hold long term. However, day trading, should you see that it's breaking levels, and oil futures are trading fairly well. This does have oil and gold in it, actually. So keep it on watch. Not one to hold long term, but a fun one if you know what you're doing to day trade and you're on the right side of the trade. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for today. Let's see what the, because they sold it, DP, because they sold it. That's why. Usually that is the biggest reason why. Let's see if we have any notes. FOMC, YouTube, Federal Reserve, statement 31 minutes ago. The Federal Reserve is committed to using its full range of tools, blah, blah, blah. Let's go here. Path of economy. The committee seeks to achieve maximum employment and inflation at the rate of 2% over the long run, with inflation running persistently below this longer run goal. I don't know. How about the price of fuel, right? Is that related to inflation? Yes. The committee will aim to achieve inflation moderately above 2% for some time, so that inflation averages 2% over time, right? They decided to keep the target range for the federal fund rates at 0 to 0.25% and expect it will be appropriate to maintain this target rate until labor market conditions have reached levels consistent with the committee's assessment of maximum employment and inflation rise to 2% on track. Federal Reserve will continue to increase its holding of Treasury securities by at least $80 billion per month. They increased it from $60 billion. And agency mortgage-backed securities by at least $40 billion per month. Whew, what happened in 2008 when they were buying mortgage-backed securities? So they're saying that unemployment is not doing well, and they're buying mortgage-backed securities. Does that sound like a recipe for disaster? I think it just might. If these people are not employed at 2%, then that means that they're likely going to start defaulting on their mortgages, and they're going to be buying $40 billion per month. To me, that does not look like a good thing for the U.S. government, personally. So that's going to be it. Let's check out Zynga and BB really quickly for Quoto. All right, Zynga is nice. I like Zynga moving to the upside. So yes, we have this movement, a bit of a cup and handle as well. So let's measure the depth over here. Oh. Exactly, Benny. We might even see worse, right? How about all this money? Remember that the reserve requirements for the banks to hold in-house is a big fat old goose egg. 0. They have 0 reserve requirements since last March, which means all the money comes in, gets lent right out. If you have lots of money and you want to take your money out, where is it? It's in somebody else's hands. They've lent it out to somebody else, and how many of those people are defaulting on loans? How many of those people are defaulting on those mortgage-backed securities, right? Could be a real mess. Real mess. All right, so 92 cents here. Breaking out over here, let's add 92 cents. My target would be roughly $11.50 for Zynga, which would also be the top off right here and resistance point on the chart. Love how the math comes together to give us nice targets and realistic targets at the same time. And last one, Blackberry. Blackberry seems to have flatlined. It did have its day where it ran and moved nicely, and now it's just back down, stuck in moving average traffic. Here. So as long as it can stay above 8:30, maybe it's going to have a bigger move to the upside. Good afternoon, Guillermo. So once this really breaks above 1030, you could see that this could have a big movement again, right? Once it broke above these moving averages, it shot up. So I'd look to see, hey, we're above a lot of these longer term moving averages, but we need it to break above 986 and then 1030, in my opinion, for a bigger move to the upside for Blackberry. Otherwise, look at how much volume it took for that big move. Now it's just sort of going sideways. It's not doing a whole lot. It's sleeping. It's sleeping until it wakes up again, right? How long was this going to the downward side as well? They'd shorted it since January of 2018 probably, and then the shorts started to get squeezed, and that's where the momentum came from. So a lot of this volume right here was likely short squeeze that happened. Would not anticipate for that to happen again anytime soon, super quickly. All right, everyone, have an amazing day. If you ever have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me at jane@cjanetrade.com. As always, Carpe Profit, seize those profits one trade at a time, and I will see you all tomorrow. Have a great one.